A road trip gone wrong. Let's take a look at this E320 CDI. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Wizard Shop, guys. This is a 2005 Mercedes-Benz E320 CDI. It is a diesel. And I just drove it to this location here and it smells like a UPS truck. And it's really strange because it's a car, but yet it has diesel smells, which is cool. So this customer actually lives in Vermont, but this car came from California. He bought the car, he arrived to California, picked up the car, and was on his way back to Vermont, but he didn't make it all the way home. He made it to Wyoming and hit a snowstorm that was so bad that he had to finally he had to go home. He had to make it home. He had this thing towed, and he realized it really isn't that far comparatively to just have it taken to the Wizards there in Kansas. So he had it brought here to Kansas and have us check it over. There's some real hidden surprises on this thing. We've actually talked to the customer and told them some of the surprises already. But he's concerned about a fuel leak, a coolant leak, a check engine light, just wants it checked over. But Magic Mike has actually started looking into some of the codes and issues going on, and it's kind of scary, guys. This one's kind of a whopper. This one's a big one. There's things wrong that don't look really wrong, but will take thousands to fix it. But before we dive into that, let's take a look around the car. So this one is kind of rare for the United States, not necessarily because it's an E-Class, but because it's a diesel, a CDI. And I know over in Europe you guys have diesels all over the place, but we do not here. You can see in the paint on the hood it's actually heavily oxidized. I don't know if it's been repainted and they did a poor job, or the clear coat is just starting to show its age. So that could be addressed at some point. The wheels look pretty good. It's a little dirty because, like I mentioned, he was driving in a snowstorm. I don't see any damage on this side. No dents or anything, no rust holes. Here's our infamous E-Class rear end, which I really do like these. I like the styling of the E-Class in these years. I do see a gouge right here that someone has tried to paint in years past with touch-up paint. There's a little bit of fading on the bumper here. It looks like the clear coat's starting to fade through. As we go down this side, nice looking wheel. I don't see any serious dents or anything. The clear coat looks pretty good on this side. It's mainly just the hood, kind of the upper portions of the car that have paint issues. Let's go ahead and pop the hood. So here's our E320 CDI. The covers are slightly off because Long Beach was actually doing some inspection on it. We're looking for the fuel leak and the coolant leak. We haven't found a whole lot yet, but we're still diving into this one. The engine bay, as far as oil leaks and things of that nature, is really not too bad. It's pretty clean. It does have the SBC brakes right here, just like we saw on the black Mercedes E320 petrol or gas version. SBC right there. Customer's mainly concerned about mechanical problems, and during the snowstorm that he was driving in, it actually got so cold it wouldn't start. It's very likely some glow plug issues or the fact it was just that cold. It has started every time since. So now we're going to jump into the interior and let Mrs. Wizard give you a tour, but this is going to be a different kind of a tour. You're going to see things that are broken, and you're going to see things that are really shocking. It's like, oh my God, why was this not disclosed? So let's take a look.
Well, ladies and gents, I don't normally see very many Mercedes with this many miles on it. That says 216,000 miles and 42. Wow. Now, as we look up, I mean, obviously we can see a little bit of issue with the steering wheel. We can see that right away, and we're not going to take this off because, well, it's the customers and they want it there. But if we look up here at the dash, we're looking pretty good. A lot of miles on it, but it's looking okay. Assuming that there was sun damage being done, with it being, on the hood, it doesn't seem like it got transferred into here so far. Again, lots of wood accents that wrap around. Nothing, out of the ordinary so far. But as we go back There's a few pieces and parts missing, like the entire part right there. Wizard, what's going on up here?
So it had a code in one of the modules for the rain light sensor, and that is actually this piece here, the black square that senses rain and light on the exterior of the windshield. And it wasn't working, and the reason why Magic Mike has this all apart, you can see the ribbon cable just stops there. And you can see someone previous has ripped that clear in half. We may just get a ribbon cable. I don't know if we can just buy the ribbon cable. But like I said, the customer's really focused on mechanical problems, but we definitely want answers as to why is this code and why is this going on. And that's just the beginning of everything. We started to find even more as we dive deeper. There's some very shady things going on here.
Okay, so obviously this is not normal factory install. Well, other than this piece that's dangling here, the interior is looking good otherwise. We do have a lovely ivory leather throughout the entire part of, the car. The seats are good, nice bolster on the sides, hold us in place nice. Again, back seat is looking good. Only thing that's setting back there is looks like the back seat's holding a license plate cover, but again, nothing major, nothing wrong or damaged. Just have a nice factory installed window shade. It looks like it's in good condition. Otherwise, back here, I'm not seeing anything crazy. So let's go ahead. Let's check out this headliner. There we go. There's the roof of the shop. But wasn't there something going on up here, Wizard?
Yes, so we had a code going on showing sunroof initialization and some other issues, and Magic Mike just took a quick scan looking inside the sunroof. And if you look on the driver's side, just inside on this rail here, it's actually the sunroof is being held in by a wood block.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That is a wood block installed in a sunroof.
All the bracketry, everything is just destroyed and smashed inside of there, and they stuffed a wood block in there and called it good.
So it made it inoperable.
It is inoperable, yes.
And their solution was to permanently just put a wood block in there so it doesn't leak on their head?
That's correct.
Okay, well, that is a solution, not one many people select for their moonroof, sunroof. Okay, that's a new one. So, other than some of these other issues, like the steering wheel not being in extra good shape there, but again, steering wheels aren't that expensive to replace. I mean, we've done that on a few of our cars, and it's something that can be looked into. It looks to be functional, standard Mercedes steering wheel, but again, everything else is looking good. A little bit of some chrome plating coming off here, and you want to be careful here because this could be really, really, really sharp. And you could get a nasty little cut from that, I know from experience. But otherwise, it's in really good shape for that. But other than the wood block and the ripped up cable, I'm a little worried about what we're going to find underneath. Should we get this in the air, Wizard?
Let's take a look. So the rain light sensor very likely can be fixed with a ribbon cable. And we don't even know if the customer even wants to mess with that or not, but we definitely want to get a list of repairs of what's wrong, what's all wrong with this thing. But we did talk with the customer this morning and let him know that that wood block issue for the sunroof could potentially cost thousands of dollars to fix. We did tell him that to investigate exactly what is all broken, what is all missing, there could be things hacked, more wood blocks, and we won't know until we fully remove the entire headliner. That is not a 30-minute job, that's hours of work. We did some checking in an entire sunroof module from the dealership, which is not something you're going to find at AutoZone. $1,500, $1,800 some places, $1,200. Just there's kind of a range there. And then you add labor and the headliner coming down and back up. It's thousands of dollars. The customer said, let's not worry about that right now. Let's focus on the mechanicals. If the repairs aren't too bad mechanically, we might revisit this sunroof situation. But he was disheartened. He was like, they told me it didn't work, but they did not tell me that they stuffed wood blocks in it to hold up the glass. He was like, that's a real bummer. So let's go ahead and get this thing on the lift and see what else we can find. Kind of a strange noise to hear a diesel in a small car like that, isn't it, Mrs. Wizard?
It definitely isn't what we're used to hearing.
Here in America, we just don't hear that. I know from experience having these cars like this in the past, you pull up to the gas station or the fuel station and put some diesel in, and they hear the rattle of the diesel, and us as Americans were looking around for the UPS truck. We're like, where's the UPS guy? And then you see a little car and you get a lot of looks. They're like, what the heck? A car has a diesel? So in Europe, I know that you guys have millions of these, but here in America, we don't, and we should. I really like them. So let's take a look. Well, so far it's pretty dry here. We can take a peek at the radiator through here. Nice and dry there. I don't see any major leaks through here. The steering rack is in good shape, but the boot could be replaced to keep dirt out of it, but they're not leaking there.
And the motor mount up there looks actually pretty good.
Yeah, motor mount looks okay.
That's shocking.
Check these brakes. They're about 70% gone. They have a little life left. We'll see if they want to do brakes or not. It's got spring suspension, not the Airmatic, which is good. Sway bar link is good. Nothing leaking out of that shock or strut. Everything's dry right here. Long Beach actually looked at this as far as leaks, and it's just as dry as you guys are seeing it. We look for fuel leaks, we look for coolant leaks. We didn't see anything. Check these brakes, same scenario, strut's dry. Sway bar link is good. This boot has got a crack in it right here. Nothing loose there. Move back to the transmission. It's nice and dry on the pan. With the amount of miles, it could probably stand to be serviced. Uh-oh, guys, it's the infamous Mercedes transmission mount where I can put my finger in the top of it. Definitely time for a transmission mount.
But the flex disc looks okay.
Yeah, the surface of it has a little bit of, it's kind of like a paint or something that's on the rubber, but the rubber itself is fine. Nothing wrong there. There's our exhaust. Speaking of the exhaust, like Tyler Hoover of Hoovy's Garage told me, this is the favorite year of his for the Mercedes diesels because there's no serious emission systems here. There's no DEF filters. There's no bunch of sensors and things. It's just a pipe. So that's one of the things that are really liked about these models. It's the last modern diesel era that you can buy with Mercedes-Benz that doesn't have all the garbage on it. This flex disc looks okay. Our differential looks like a tiny, tiny seepage, but nothing really worth messing with. The boot is good here. Our shock is good. Sway bar link is good. The brakes are about 50% back here. CV boots are good. Sway bar link is good. Shock is dry. Brakes are good, nothing loose. Tires are okay. And here's our exhaust. It looks like it has dual exhaust. It actually has single, it just turns into dual towards the middle of the car. Again, just mufflers. It does have kind of like a catalytic converter up there by the engine, but that's it.
That's weird. Who tows with the Mercedes sedan?
I don't know. It looks like they've scraped it a few times there, and this is being held on with a hose clamp, which isn't too big of a deal, I guess. Let's check the date code on the tires, guys. So the date code on these is 2017, so they're getting to be about 5 years old. They're towards the end of the life. I would still use them a little bit longer, but not a whole lot longer. Otherwise, let's get this thing on the ground. So other than the sunroof issue and the rain light sensor issue, really I think the customer did pretty good. We didn't see a whole bunch of leaks or any major issues with this car. Really, it's not that bad.
Wizard, do you think maybe the smell he was smelling was when he was trying to get the engine started? You know, just cranking and cranking and cranking?
It could have been. He could have overfueled it so much that he was smelling fuel out of the exhaust. It's possible. But right now we're not seeing any fuel leaks, anything going on like that. We did check the injector for what's called a black death. That's where like a black sludge grows around the injectors. And there really isn't any to speak of. It's really clean. When diesels have a fuel leak, it doesn't just evaporate. It's very easy to find because when it starts leaking down the side of the engine or wherever it is, it pretty much stays there. So a month later you can still find the leak even though the car hasn't been started. Tyler from Hoovie's Garage was actually in here and he saw some of the issues the car has, and he says even with the issues he would still be interested. I think it was Cars and Bids or Bring a Trailer, something like that. One of these CDIs with very low miles went for tens of thousands. I think he said $30,000 or something really high. They're really that desirable. So even with high miles and the issues it has, it's still a good car, still a worthwhile buy. And I actually wouldn't mind having one myself. It's really cool. So if the customer decides to let us fix the sunroof or any other issues, if you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use to do that, check my Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We get a small cut and we really appreciate it. All the tools that we use in the shop are listed there for sale. And make sure to hit the subscribe button because I just bought another car, Mrs. Wizard.
Really?
Another one.
Yeah, well, yeah, 20 isn't enough.
21. That's the magic number.
No.
Hit the subscribe button, guys. Thanks for watching.